What if I told you that almost everything you've heard about cleaning out your arteries is wrong? Because roughly 90% of doctors and almost every YouTube video on this topic completely misses the mark. They typically focus on salt or cholesterol or some magic foods, but very few of them actually explain how your arteries, the plaque inside them, and your metabolism all act together, leading to a heart attack or a stroke. So let's ask the question that very few people ask. Can you actually clean out your arteries? If so, how? And more importantly, is that even the right question to be asking? My name's Andrew. I'm the founder of Longevity Lifestyle. I'm a nutrition coach, a personal trainer, and the information I'm about to share is taken from some of the world's leading experts on cardiovascular health. And let me be clear, the following is not medical advice. These claims are not mine. I'm just here to share the data. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what causes your arteries to clog up, how to stabilize the situation inside them, and most importantly, the one meal that resets the entire system. And no, it's not kale, it's not olive oil, and it's not salmon. Here's how we're gonna cover this. First, I'm gonna break down two massive misunderstandings about plaque and blood flow. Second, we're gonna go through the real questions that actually determine heart attack risk. Third, we're gonna go through 7 common myths that most doctors even believe. Fourth, we're gonna go through the truth about 4 popular supplements. And fifth, we'll go through the surprising meal that really does clean out your arteries. Let's start with the 2 biggest misunderstandings that almost everyone, including many doctors, get wrong. Misunderstanding number 1. Your arteries don't clog like pipes. You've probably been told that plaque blocks your arteries the same way that hair might clog a drain. But while that sounds simple, it's completely wrong. Because your arteries aren't rigid pipes. They're alive. They expand, they contract, and they adapt. They react to your environment, your hormones, insulin, even stress. So the plaque in your arteries is not just a lump sitting in a pipe. It's part of a living, reactive system. And your arteries are remodeling themselves every single day. And that's where the real danger hides. So misunderstanding number 2, you don't clean plaque out, you stabilize it. See, plaque comes in 2 forms. There's hot plaque, which is soft, inflamed, and unstable. This is the kind that bursts and leads to heart attacks. And then there's stable plaque. This is calcified, cooled down, it's quiet. This is the kind your body has already healed and locked down. Heart attacks don't happen because of too much plaque. They happen when inflamed plaque ruptures, like a volcano inside your artery, spilling toxic debris that leads to a blood clot. The clot is what clogs things and actually kills. So the goal isn't to scrape plaque away, it's to calm it down and to stabilize it. Now that kind of changes everything, doesn't it? If you actually want to protect your arteries, forget about lowering cholesterol for a second. Ask these 3 questions instead. Number 1, how can I lower my risk of heart attack and stroke? Number 2, how can I find out if I have soft, unstable plaque? And number 3, if I do find out I have it, how do I stabilize it fast? Let's start with number 1. How can you lower your risk of heart attack and stroke? This starts with your metabolism. Because what happens in your metabolism years before symptoms show up creates inflammation that weakens your arteries. If you go into a clinic that knows what they're doing, you can get deep dive labs done, measuring oral glucose tolerance tests, insulin sensitivity, inflammatory markers like CRP or IL-6, even markers like myeloperoxidase. And these markers will tell you how your body is really handling carbs and insulin. Because here's the truth. The majority of heart attacks don't start with high cholesterol. They start with insulin resistance. Your body stops responding to insulin, so your blood sugar climbs, and then the excessive insulin itself becomes toxic. And this damages your artery walls, trapping cholesterol and sparking inflammation. This is the beginning of what some people call the insulin spiral of death. It starts subtly, like having a little bit of fatigue after meals, dealing with consistent cravings or stubborn belly fat. But left unchecked, it leads to inflammation buildup, clotting, and plaque rupture. And here's the scary part. Most people, even in their 20s and 30s, are already in this spiral and they don't even realize it. But the good news is, you can stop this spiral in its tracks. How? You have to fix the fuel problem, which ultimately means you need to balance your carbohydrate intake with your body's ability to burn it. One of the best ways to do this is to build more lean muscle. Lean muscle acts like a glucose sink. It loves to eat up blood sugar. And then test, don't guess. So let's go to question number 2. How can you find whether or not you do have soft plaque? Forget the stress test, it won't tell you. And forget the stint, it's not gonna prevent it. The real test is called the CIMT, the carotid intima media thickness. This is where they use an ultrasound to look directly at the thickness of your artery wall in your neck. And this mirrors what's happening in your heart 95% of the time. This test can actually see the soft plaque before it becomes a problem. But very few doctors actually order it. Why? Because sadly, most are trained to react to the problem after it shows up. They're not trained to diagnose and prevent the problem before it occurs. CIMT is the early warning radar that can literally save your life. Okay, question number 3. If I have soft plaque, how do I stabilize it? And the answer here is simple. It's to cool the inflammation, which is done in part by fixing the fuel. You have to cut back on the excess carbs that your body can't handle. And this comes with building muscle, lowering body fat, and regulating your insulin response. Because 80% of arterial inflammation can be tracked back to undiagnosed prediabetes or insulin resistance. When you fix your metabolism, you fix your inflammation, and your arteries heal. Now let's knock out 7 of the most common myths that keep people in the dark on this. Number 1 is that LDL causes heart attacks. LDL has been correlated with heart attacks. That's a big difference between causing them. The real root cause is the metabolic inflammation we're talking about. Because high LDL in somebody who is metabolically inflamed behaves much different than somebody who's metabolically healthy. Myth number 2, young people don't have plaque. This is wrong. There are plenty of cardiologists and experts that will tell you they start to see plaque forming even in 20 and 30-year-olds. Some studies have even shown early plaque buildup as young as age 5. Myth number 3, if you don't eat sugar, you're safe. Unfortunately, that's just not true because bread, pasta, and even fruit juice can spike your blood glucose faster than table sugar. Myth number 4, you can reverse plaque. As I said before, you can't erase plaque, but you can stabilize it. You calm it down. It's less about cleaning and more about healing. Myth number 5, a stress test predicts a heart attack. A stress test measures fitness, not risk. Sadly, there are plenty of examples of people that ace their stress tests and then drop dead from a cardiac event weeks later. Myth number 6, a stent prevents a heart attack. This is true only in emergencies. The big trials like Courage, Orbita, Ischemia, they have shown they do not prevent heart attacks. Myth number 7, a bypass will save you. A bypass, like a stent, is only going to work if you're in an acute crisis. The real fix happens upstream, in your metabolism, not the operating room. Now let's talk about supplements, because this industry is drowning in hype, and there are 4 that I want to provide some clarity on. The first is apple cider vinegar. While apple cider vinegar is amazing, and I recommend it to almost all of my clients, it does help curb cravings, it can help with blood sugar management, but it does not clean out your arteries like some claim. The second is vitamin K2. Some claim that vitamin K2 pulls calcium from the arteries. And while it doesn't do that, what it actually does is helps improve insulin sensitivity. So it is helpful, but indirectly. The third supplement is vitamin D. And vitamin D is actually a steroid hormone. It is essential. But correlation isn't causation. Your goal is to keep your vitamin D levels between 50 and 90. Just don't expect it to scrub your arteries. And the fourth supplement is niacin, or vitamin B3. And while niacin is good for your mitochondria, it can be good for your lipids, and it can help lower Lp(a), it's not the miracle that some people believe. Now let me be clear, I'm a fan of each of these supplements. I'm just here to tell you they're not going to clean out your arteries. If supplements worked like YouTube thumbnails promised, we'd all be living forever. They can support your health, but they do not replace the fundamentals: nutrition, exercise, stress, sleep. Now let's circle back to the question we started with. What is the one meal that can clean out your arteries? Ready? It's not a food. It's a lack of one. It's fasting. Because when you fast, your body activates autophagy. This is a cellular cleanup process that allows your body to recycle damaged components, calm down inflammation, and repair the inner lining of your arteries. Fasting has the power to reset insulin sensitivity, drop inflammation, and stabilize soft plaque. It's not starvation. It is precision recovery. And you don't need to start with a 3-day water fast. Intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating can work wonders. Even 14 to 16 hours a day of fasting can trigger measurable benefits because your arteries don't need constant food. Actually, they need the opposite. They need consistency, periods of calm, and metabolic rhythm. So don't think of fasting like it's depriving your body. Think about it as giving your body a break and a chance to heal. So ultimately, can you clean out your arteries? Not in the way most people think. You don't scrub them clean. You stabilize them and calm down the fire inside. And you do this by fixing your metabolism, building muscle, reducing insulin spikes, and incorporating some form of fasting. This will help you lower your risk of heart attack and stroke by addressing it at the root cause level. Plaque isn't your enemy. Inflammation is. And when you stabilize that, everything about your health changes. Your energy, your focus, your motivation, and your longevity. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe and send it to somebody else who might benefit from hearing it. Hopefully, it helped you see your health and your arteries in a whole new light.